I gotta tell you, in a vacuum, if Angel Reese or any other WNBA player wanted to do a Victoria Models photo shoot, walk the runway, make those extra dollars, I would not care.
Angel Reese thought walking the Victoria's Secret runway would be her empowerment moment. Instead, it became the most embarrassing night of her career. The WNBA star strutted down that catwalk in pink silk and lace, flashing her biggest smile for the cameras. She probably felt unstoppable, ready to show the world she could dominate both basketball courts and fashion runways. Too bad nobody told her the internet never forgets.
Even if it is Angel Reese, I wouldn't give a damn. Except, in the case of Angel Reese, there is precedent that she felt like she was being sexualized, that she was a victim of something.
But here's where things get messy. Just hours after her lingerie debut, social media turned into a digital courtroom. Fans weren't cheering her confidence. They were pulling up receipts from her college days at LSU. Remember when Angel tearfully told reporters to stop sexualizing her? Well, those clips started trending right next to her Victoria's Secret photos. The contrast was brutal and impossible to ignore. The whole disaster started because Angel built her brand on being a victim of unfair treatment.
This is Angel. Let's make sure we have context here.
I've been attacked so many times. Death threats. I've been sexualized.
Meanwhile,
Big mama. Damn. Big mama. That big mama for real.
I've been death threats. I've been sexualized. She's been celebrated, bruh.
During her LSU press conferences, she would get emotional about how people judged her appearance instead of her game. She demanded respect and claimed the media was sexualizing her unfairly. Those moments made her a hero to fans who saw her as someone fighting double standards in women's sports. Not only that, but Angel used that victim narrative whenever controversy hit. Trash talk on the court, she was being misunderstood. Criticism about her attitude, people were targeting her because she was confident. Every single time backlash appeared, Angel pulled out the same playbook. She painted herself as someone fighting an unfair system that judged women too harshly.
Hey, we're walking the one runway in our underwear. And again, if you want to walk the runway, I don't care. You might be like, well, Rhodes, Sophie Cunningham and bikinis and blah. Sophie Cunningham's never come out and played the victim of anything. And if Angel Reese hadn't have done that, if she hadn't have played that victim card, I wouldn't give a rat's ass that she's doing this.
Her supporters ate it up completely. They defended her through every controversy, believing they were backing someone who represented authenticity and empowerment. Brands loved her edge, media outlets praised her for being unapologetic, and fans rallied behind her message of self-respect. Angel became the poster child for confidence in women's basketball. But plot twist, the same confidence that built her empire was about to destroy it. When Angel hit that Victoria's Secret runway, every single word she had said about not wanting to be sexualized came flooding back. Fans who once defended her passion for respect suddenly felt like complete fools. The woman who cried about being objectified was now literally modeling lingerie for millions of viewers. The timing couldn't have been worse either. This wasn't some old controversy that people had forgotten about. Angel's statements about sexualization were recent enough that fans remembered them clearly.
But yeah, if you're going to be that big, that large of a hypocrite, you're going to get called out for it. Of course you are. I mean, honestly, I'm still trying to figure out why the guy that created the Me Bounce thing on TikTok isn't suing her over the Me Bounce thing.
Social media users started creating side-by-side comparisons of her press conference tears and her runway strut. The irony was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Let's take a moment to rewind to understand just how brutal the internet can be when it smells hypocrisy. Within minutes of Angel's runway photos hitting social media, the digital wolves came out to play.
There she is, walking the runway in her drawers. There she is in her drawers. Okay, so that was her Victoria's Secrets Victoria's secretions right here.
TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter turned into roasting sessions that would make a comedy club jealous. Users weren't just criticizing her choice to model, they were systematically destroying her credibility with surgical precision. The memes started flying faster than Angel could delete comments. One viral post showed her tearful LSU press conference with the caption, "Stop sexualizing me," right next to her Victoria's Secret runway photo. That single comparison racked up millions of views and thousands of shares. The internet had found its new favorite contradiction, and they weren't letting go anytime soon.
If you want to do tasteful modeling, that's up to you. But do not play the victim. Wasn't she the one whining because she felt the WNBA was, quote, sexualizing her? She said it when she was still in college. This is her coming out in college. Right there. That's at the LSU post-game presser where she wanted everybody to cry. I got tagged right here. Stop sexualizing me. Angel Reese, quote, stop sexualizing me. Also, Angel Reese walks in her underwear.
Here's the kicker though, the backlash wasn't coming from random trolls or Angel haters. Her own supporters were leading the charge. These were the same fans who had defended her through every controversy, believing they were fighting for someone who stood against unfair treatment. Now they felt completely betrayed and stupid for ever backing her message. Comment sections turned into digital graveyards for Angel's reputation. Fans wrote essays about feeling misled and manipulated. They talked about how they had argued with friends and family to defend Angel's right to be respected. Some admitted they felt embarrassed for ever believing her victim narrative was genuine instead of calculated. The most viral comment perfectly captured the mood. Someone wrote, "You can't say you're tired of being sexualized and then walk in your underwear for cameras."
I got a major problem. When people start playing the victim and then they go out and do something like this that is hypocritical as hell, yeah, you're going to get called out on it. You surely are. That comment, that statement from that presser will follow her forever as long as she tries to do and continues to do things like this.
Pick a lane. That comment got shared across every platform and became the unofficial motto of the backlash. It summed up exactly what millions of people were thinking. But wait, there's more. Other WNBA players became unwilling participants in the drama. Fans started comparing Angel to players like Sophie Cunningham, who had modeled in bikinis and revealing outfits without any drama. The difference was crystal clear. Sophie never complained about being sexualized or played victim when criticism came her way. She owned her image and stayed consistent. ESPN and major sports outlets couldn't ignore the story anymore. The runway walk was trending harder than most NBA games. Talk shows started debating whether Angel was facing unfair double standards or just dealing with consequences of her own contradictions. The conversation spread way beyond basketball into mainstream pop culture. Not only that, but the hashtag Angel Reese Runway kept trending for days. Every few hours, new memes and commentary videos would surface, keeping the controversy alive. Users created remix videos splicing her emotional interviews with runway footage. The content was endless, and none of it was flattering. Sports commentators who once praised Angel for her authenticity started changing their tune. Podcasts dedicated entire episodes to discussing whether she had permanently damaged her brand. The consensus was pretty clear. Angel had crossed a line between empowerment and self-inflicted controversy that she couldn't walk back. Here's where things get even more ridiculous. Just when you thought Angel's reputation couldn't take any more hits, another controversy crawled out of the woodwork. This time, it had nothing to do with lingerie and everything to do with stealing someone else's creative work. The Me-Bound scandal resurfaced at the worst possible time, proving that karma really does have perfect timing. For those who missed it, Me-Bounds was a viral TikTok dance and branding concept created by an independent content creator months before Angel ever touched it. The original creator had built this lighthearted movement celebrating confidence and self-expression. Nothing controversial, just pure creative energy that was gaining traction organically on social media platforms. But then Angel swooped in and decided she liked the idea enough to make it her own. She started posting videos using the exact same name, nearly identical choreography, and similar styling. Her version exploded with millions of views while the original creator got buried in the algorithm. Angel never credited the originator or even acknowledged that the concept existed existed before her involvement. The timing of this resurfacing was absolutely brutal for Angel. While fans were already questioning her integrity over the Victoria's Secret contradiction, social media detectives started connecting more dots. Here was another example of Angel taking someone else's work, rebranding it for her own benefit, and profiting from the attention it generated. Plot twist number 2. Angel's response to the plagiarism accusations was to completely ignore them. She kept posting me-bounds content as if the controversy didn't exist. No apology, no credit given, no acknowledgement whatsoever. For someone who preached about empowerment and supporting other women, her silence spoke volumes about her actual character. Users started creating compilation videos showing the original me-bounds content next to Angel's versions. The similarities were undeniable and embarrassing. Comments flooded in from people pointing out that this was becoming a clear pattern. First the sexualization hypocrisy, now straight up creative theft. Angel was building a reputation as someone who borrowed everything from victim narratives to dance moves. Not only that, but the original creator's supporters rallied to defend their work. They started sharing the timeline of events, proving beyond doubt that Angel had copied the concept. The evidence was overwhelming, yet Angel continued posting as if nothing had happened. Her complete lack of accountability made the situation 10 times worse. Sports commentators began weaving this into the larger narrative about Angel's character. They weren't just talking about one runway walk anymore. They were discussing a pattern of behavior that showed someone more interested in chasing attention than respecting others. The me-bounds controversy proved that Angel's problems went deeper than just contradictory statements. Here's the real tea though. The internet loves nothing more than exposing someone who built their brand on false premises. Angel had positioned herself as an advocate for originality and empowerment, but her actions told a completely different story. She was revealing herself as someone who thrived on borrowed spotlight and manufactured controversy. By this point, defending Angel became impossible even for her most loyal supporters. The evidence was stacking up like a house of cards, and each new revelation made her look worse. The Victoria's Secret walk might have started the fire, but the me-bounds plagiarism was gasoline that made everything burn brighter. Here's where the real heartbreak begins. Angel's most devastating blow wasn't coming from random internet trolls or sports commentators. It was coming from the people who had genuinely believed in her message and fought battles on her behalf. Her loyal fan base, the ones who had defended her through every controversy, started abandoning ship faster than passengers on the Titanic. These weren't fair-weather fans looking for drama. These were supporters who had invested emotionally in Angel's empowerment narrative. They had argued with friends, family members, and strangers online to defend her right to be respected. They had shared her posts, bought her merchandise, and genuinely saw her as a role model for confidence and authenticity. But then reality smacked them in the face. Comment sections that used to overflow with heart emojis and praise turned into digital confession booths. Former supporters wrote lengthy posts about feeling embarrassed and manipulated. They talked about defending Angel to their own mothers, only to realize they had been backing someone who didn't believe in her own message. One viral comment perfectly captured the betrayal. "I defended her when people called her fake. I argued with my own friends about giving her respect. Now I look like a complete fool." That sentiment echoed across thousands of similar posts from fans who felt personally betrayed by Angel's contradictions. The damage kept spreading. YouTube creators who had made entire channels around defending Angel started deleting videos or posting apology content. One popular sports commentator admitted, "I stopped making videos about her because people just don't care anymore. And honestly, neither do I." That statement hit different because it came from someone who had genuinely supported her journey. The WNBA community began distancing itself too. Teammates who used to celebrate her energy on social media grew suspiciously quiet. Team photographers stopped featuring her as prominently in promotional content. Even reporters started asking fewer questions about her during press conferences, focusing instead on players who brought less baggage to interviews. Meanwhile, other stars were rising. The league shifted its promotional spotlight toward players like Caitlin Clark and Juju Watkins, whose clean images and consistent messages made them ideal faces for women's basketball. Angel found herself fading from conversations not because she lacked talent, but because brands and media outlets wanted to avoid the constant drama that followed her everywhere. But here's the most brutal part. Angel tried desperately to move forward by posting motivational quotes, new brand collaborations, and workout videos. Every single post got flooded with runway memes and hypocrisy reminders. The comments weren't even angry anymore. They were tired, disappointed, and indifferent. For someone who built her career on generating strong reactions, indifference was the ultimate death sentence. Social media engagement that used to generate millions of interactions dropped to embarrassingly low numbers. Brands started quietly backing away from partnership deals. The same confidence that once commanded narratives had turned into a liability that nobody wanted to touch. Angel had become toxic to her own brand. The saddest part was watching her try to recapture the magic that had made her special. Every attempt felt forced and desperate. The spontaneous charisma that once made her compelling was replaced by calculated moves that felt hollow and performative. She had lost the very thing that made people care about her in the first place. Let's talk about the permanent damage. Angel Reese's Victoria's Secret moment wasn't just a bad PR week that would blow over with time. It fundamentally changed how people viewed her character and created a reputation crater that might never get filled. In the social media era, some mistakes follow you forever, and Angel had just authored the textbook example of career self-destruction. The most painful irony was that Angel had once represented everything positive about women's sports. She embodied confidence, independence, and the ability to embrace femininity without sacrificing respect. Young girls looked up to her as proof that athletes could be multidimensional and unapologetic. That symbolism didn't just disappear with her runway walk, it got completely flipped upside down. But the internet doesn't forget. Every future opportunity, endorsement deal, and media appearance would now come with baggage. Potential partners would have to weigh whether associating with Angel was worth the risk of reminding people about her contradictions. In a league desperate for positive role models, she had transformed herself into a cautionary tale about authenticity. Media outlets that once celebrated her boldness started using her as an example of what happens when athletes lose touch with their own message. Opinion columns dissected her fall from grace, analyzing every contradiction and missed opportunity for accountability. Sports blogs created timelines showing her evolution from empowerment symbol to internet meme. Here's the real kicker though, Angel could have recovered from this disaster with genuine humility and self-reflection. Public forgiveness is possible when people see authentic growth and accountability. Instead, she doubled down on the same patterns that got her in trouble. No real apology, no acknowledgement of the contradiction, just continued attempts to control a narrative that had already escaped her grasp. The WNBA moved on without missing a beat. Fresh faces with clean images stepped into the spotlight that Angel once commanded. Rookie sensations and veteran players alike benefited from the vacuum she created by destroying her own credibility. The league discovered it didn't need her drama to generate interest and engagement. Meanwhile, her legacy was being rewritten. Instead of being remembered as a confident trailblazer, Angel was becoming synonymous with hypocrisy and manufactured controversy. Her highlight reels would forever be accompanied by runway memes. Her career achievements would always come with asterisks about character questions. The most devastating part was how completely avoidable this entire situation had been. Angel possessed legitimate talent, charisma, and platform influence. She could have built a lasting legacy as someone who genuinely empowered young women through sports. Instead, she chose short-term attention over long-term credibility and paid the ultimate price. Not only that, but she had created a blueprint for how not to manage a public image. Future athletes would study her mistakes in media training seminars. Her story would become required reading for sports psychology courses about maintaining authenticity under pressure. Angel Reese had become a case study in everything wrong with modern celebrity culture. The final nail in the coffin was how unnecessary the whole controversy had been. She could have walked that runway without any backlash if she had simply been consistent about her message from the beginning. The problem wasn't the modeling, it was the hypocrisy that made every action look calculated and fake. Angel's downfall proved that in today's digital world, authenticity isn't just important for building a brand, it's essential for survival. Fans can forgive mistakes, controversies, and even bad decisions, but they cannot forgive being lied to about who someone really is underneath all the performance. If you're enjoying this content and want to see more breakdowns of sports drama that keeps you entertained, smash that subscribe button and let's dive into more stories together.